Welcome back, Bantwana Benkosi. Final matter here on Power Talk with the end of the month and the beginning of a new month. I know, comrades, who are fighting debit orders, all of us. It's a struggle. Alando, it's a struggle. But the struggle continues. Let's welcome a new month, but also new changes in the Constitutional Court. The acting Deputy Chief Justice was bidden farewell, and there is a new appointment, Judge Mlambo, Dustin Mlambo, who was Judge President of the Gauteng High Court in the North. I'm joined by Justice Edwin Cameroon, retired judge and Judicial Inspectorate for Correctional Services, who is the inspecting judge there. Justice, do we still say justice? I don't know. Once a justice, always a justice.
It's a courtesy title, Dr. Ndlozo, like your title is. But I'm happy when I'm outside court to be Edwin or anyone else. But I certainly, as someone who doesn't have a thesis submitted, well-earned, grindingly merited doctorate, I will continue to call you Dr. Ndlozi.
Thank you very much for joining us, and good morning to you.
Lovely to be with Power FM listeners, always.
Thank you. Always a pleasure. I'm also joined by Research and Advocacy Officer at Judges Matter, Dima Mchunu. Welcome to Power Talk. How's Dima?
Thank you so much. Hi.
Hi.
Hi, Dima.
Hi, Justice Cameron.
Lovely to meet you here.
Yeah.
It's nice to meet you again.
Yes.
Let me start off with you, Justice. I just a broader question. Let's leave the names outside for a bit. The question of succession in the bench. How much is it of a consideration, or how much should it be of consideration in appointments?
It's a good question you ask, Dr. Ndlozi, because the judiciary and the legal profession are hierarchical. So we'll leave out the names, but I want to take a step back into the names. Mm-hmm. When you have someone who has been a judge since 1997, which is almost 30 years experience, starting in the Labour Court, progressing to the Gauteng High Court, then the Supreme Court of Appeal, then Judge President of the Labour Court, then Judge President of the biggest division in our country, the biggest and busiest and hardest division to run, then that person acquires enormous seniority and respect and stature. And without mentioning names.
Can I take you to names now?
Yes, please.
But I mean, he's going to serve as Deputy Chief Justice. With that age, Justice Maya would still be on the bench as the Chief Justice by the time age has to catch up with him for him to again be subjected to what we were doing to yesterday with Madlanga.
Yes, indeed.
So isn't it like just a courtesy appointment, maybe to honor this humongous credentials you've just mentioned, as opposed to managing succession, a much younger judge, that when the time for the Chief Justice to retire or her term ends, there's somebody right there next to her who can then succeed? I don't know. I know it's not automatic. Everybody always gets to be subjected for a new appointment, but you are sort of, in a way, managing succession.
That's a good point, Dr. Ndlozi. But remember that the Deputy Chief Justice Moseneke, who was almost universally regarded as ultimately equipped for the Chief Justiceship, was twice overlooked by the Zuma presidency.
Yes.
So it's a complicated thing. But let me say this, that Deputy Chief Justice Mlambo, and you're not going to stop me saying it, my heart is filled with joy at his recognition and his appointment. And I'd love to hear what Dimakatso also says. But he's 66, and you rightly are concerned about the fact that he will have to step down by constitutional imperative when he turns 70. And yet, he was appointed as Judge President of the Labour Court, and within 4 years, he'd made appreciable improvements. He is a hands-on person. He is a technical systems person. He's a profound jurist as well. He served, as I said, implied earlier, he served in the High Court. He served in the Supreme Court of Appeal. He's acted in the Concourt. He's one of those court leaders who sits in all the difficult cases. So he's got huge experience in the Gauteng division as well. So he will, in 4 years, I think that the judiciary, not just the Concourt, but the Concourt, which also I think needs systemic improvements and operational improvements, he will make a huge difference within those 4 years.
Okay, Dima, your take on the age. I do, of course, want to move to what he's going to bring to the Constitutional Court with a sort of quick agreement of what are the challenges that confronts the bench. But what's your take? I hope you are a little bit more on my side on this one. Justice is obviously conflicted on this question.
Unfortunately, I have to be with Justice Cameron on this one. I think it's a very good question, but I think it's also important to remember that now Deputy Chief Justice Mlambo was there from the early ages of the OCJ's establishment, the Office of the Chief Justice, and so he has that institutional knowledge, and he has the level of experience that's required. As Justice Cameron said, he's headed the Labour Court. He's headed one of the most busiest divisions of the High Courts in the country. He also does a lot of social justice work. He was at Bowman's. He had his own law firm. I think apart from his legal qualifications and his, in a sense, intellectual qualifications, he's an incredible leader and administrator. And I don't think that level of experience, I don't think age is an impairment to such a level of experience. And as Justice Cameron said, he still has 4 years. And that's enough time to impart his knowledge and train another person. I mean, if anything, Judge Mlambo is a teacher. And so whoever succeeds him would be well equipped by the time that time comes.
Okay, so maybe then you can open the discussion around what are the things he's bringing, specifically looking at what you think are the challenges that are facing the judiciary at the moment, and being at that position, what is the advantage of this accrued experience? What will he be bringing to the court?
So I think right now, something that's definitely been in the media a lot is the caseload and the number of judgments handed down at the Constitutional Court. And with Justice Mlambo's innovative ways of, I don't want to say introducing technology to the courts because it's been there, but encouraging the use of technologies by introducing case lines. And I mean, the Gauteng High Court was the first court, I think, to start a matter and finish one online during COVID. And so streamlining the court processes and caseloads not only increases access to justice, but also aligns our courts with AI and technological developments. And it will be done under somebody who can ensure judicial codes of conduct and AI ethics and technological ethics while doing that. So I think one of the challenges is managing the immense amount of cases that come to the court. And so he will definitely be spearheading that. Apart from that, Chief Justice Maya has introduced she's mentioned several initiatives that she's spearheading and her vision for the judiciary. And it's great that Justice Mlambo has the same vision. From his JSC interviews, you can see that he shares the same sentiments as the Chief Justice. I mean, he is there to assist her with the institutional and financial independence of the judiciary, a single judiciary, the establishment of the sexual harassment policy. And you can really see that he's dedicated from it. And I mean, he's dedicated to transformation, uplifting women, uplifting Black people. I think that he is the perfect addition to it. If anything, he's the perfect number 2 to number 1.
Justice?
Yes, please. I'm so delighted at every word that Dimakatso has spoken, because you didn't mean to twin us, but so far you very much twinned us.
Yes.
I'd like to add to what Dimakatso has said, that in his interview before the JSC, the affirming one, not the disgraceful shambles that occurred a few years ago, Justice Mlambo said that he understood his role as being the counterpart to and the supporter of Chief Justice Meyer. So I think they're in perfect sync. And can I just go back to I'm going to show my age here.
Yeah.
Justice Mlambo started as an intern at the Legal Resources Center just a few years, 8 or 10 years after it had been founded by our first Chief Justice under democracy, Chief Justice Arthur Chaskelson. And he was there, I think, just before or just after Justice Sisi Kampepe. So he started his legal career in a public interest committed institution. He qualified there as an attorney, and then he started his own firm, and it was likewise a public interest. I've never discussed his finances with him, but I know his family. I know his home. I've been very privileged to see his children grow up before me, and he didn't make money from his legal practice. And this is an intrusive assumption that I'm making, but it shows his commitment. He didn't go into the law to accumulate vast capital. So he ran a labor practice for labor unions and was then recruited by Judge President John Myburgh in 1997 to join the Labor Court. So this is someone with a profound understanding of people's struggles for justice, people's struggles for equity, people's struggles for a just share of our country's resources. And together with that, as Dimakatso says, he is an operations, a systems expert. He alone of the divisions foresaw what COVID would do to us, and he initiated. So it's a wonderful appointment, and he will impact not just the Constitutional Court, he will impact the whole judiciary, and he'll impact our country as a whole too.
There is this explanation of caseloads at different levels, but let's take the high courts, obviously, and the fact that the judges have not had a lot of people in there appointed in their ranks in a while, but also that maybe they are not as properly compensated. I know Dimakatso is going to be very hard on that point. They've been very clear as judges matter, but there is for some reason, also something to be said about judges that sit on judgments. And I want to take the example in the Gauteng division of the High Court. There's a judge, Khumalo, who is sitting on a lot of judgments, I think about 9 of them, Dimakatso. How does someone like Mlambo I don't know, how would you I'm trying the best phrase here. What do you do if you are Mlambo, if you are a judge president? You are expected to do something about a judge sitting on 9 judgments, majority of which have been, there for over 6 months. And you can't have someone like this and nothing is done. What would be the expectation of interventions? And maybe if you could say in the past, how has he dealt with discipline, with efficiency, when someone like this was under his leadership?
Sure. Okay.
It's actually 11 judgments. 11 judgments. Khumalo J.
Judgments. Yes.
Maybe more. I keep seeing more, actually. Yeah.
So I think there's no one answer to a question like that, but I think, it would depend on what is the reason for the delay in the judgments. But I know that in the Gauteng division, Justice Mlambo has always advocated for more legal researchers, and resources available to judges. So I think that he probably has also taken measures that we don't know about. I as I said, I don't know the reason for Judge Khumalo's caseload, but I know that there are many initiatives he has taken on to streamline cases. For example, I think he started or reintroduced the specialized commercial courts to encourage mediation in civil cases. He's also, arbitration. He's also introduced mediation in certain cases, and as I said, just using online tools for efficiency. And I know that Case Lines, as a legal platform, has increased added to the expediency of cases being dealt with fully online. So I think we can expect further innovation from him in relation to the issues of the Constitutional Court that are there, or any other high court. I think that he will use the resources he does have available to him and make sure that the caseload issue is dealt with expeditiously.
Justice, please. I mean, and I want to push it further in your case. What are there no internal measures for some form of discipline or taking judges on, and maybe even some consequences of some sort? What is the record of Dustin Mlambo with dealing for? If I'm not saying Khumalo is lazy, I'm not saying she's inefficient, but in case that this is the case, that what has he done to deal with efficiency in the case of laziness, utter incompetence of judges?
That's where I wanted to intrude, if I may, please, Dr. Ndlozi. Justice Mlambo does two things. He leads through his own stature, his intellectual and competency stature. That's the one important thing. But he also kicks butt. And that's a very judicial phrase which Power FM listeners have never heard before. So let me say to you why he kicks butt. He reported Judge Mkhabisa. Mbuyi said, you're going to say that Mkhabisa better than I can. But he's also reported Judge Khumalo to the JSC. So he is a person of principle who leads through integrity and through authority, which is the best form of leadership. But he also, when absolutely necessary, and it sounds like it, I don't know Judge Khumalo's caseload, and he also takes disciplinary measures, and he was very brave with Judge Mkhabisa, and he's been brave with Judge Khumalo as well. And can I just say that the JSC had a long process of investigating the outstanding judgments, and it will, on that precedent, it will look. I might say that, you're appointed a judge to decide cases. You're not appointed to decide them perfectly or to have 100% correct track record, but to decide cases. And some of these problems are temperamental. If I had 9 judgments outstanding at any time, I was a judge for 25 years, I'm still a judge in the Botswana Court of Appeal, I would be terrified even when I had 2 or 3 outstanding. So I feel, without patronizing her, I feel a real pity for Judge Khumalo, because that must be a terrible, disabling thing, but it does require professional and disciplinary intervention, which Judge Mlambo has done.
The final one, and we'll start with you, Dimakazi, so that Justice has a final say, is the public confidence hierarchy, obviously. It's the public confidence on the judiciary, but specifically the Constitutional Court. I don't know what else is in the toolkit for building public confidence, maybe innovation towards not just these matters we are speaking about, speedy justice and all of that with caseloads and technology, but also good public relations, good public education, explanation of judgments, maybe, I don't know. But how do you rate public confidence in the courts, specifically Constitutional Court, and what does this do, this appointment of Mlambo, does it sort of give advantage to the more confidence on the part of the public?
Yes, I think so. I mean, I will just say for myself that I'm very confident in the Constitutional Court. But I think one of the things that really stands out, as I said, about Justice Mlambo is that he supports the mandate of the Chief Justice. And I think the Chief Justice, not only speaks for the Constitutional Court, but speaks for the judiciary. And there's been a lot of support for the changes that she wants to bring in. And seeing somebody of his caliber bring it to light, I think will really reinforce faith in the judiciary in terms of seeing the practical, a real life example of what is being said actually manifesting. That's all I can really think of right now, to be honest. I think we will mostly have to wait and see, but I do think that from his past track record, but also from the way that the Constitutional Court has been conducting itself so transparently and openly, if anything, we should be appreciative of the level of accountability and the transparency that we are getting, especially in contrast to other jurisdictions. So I have every faith that we will continue to see that and continue to believe in our constitutional democracy.
Justice, how do you rate the public confidence on our courts and the Constitutional Court specifically, and the disappointment, in what way will it help?
Let me say, and I agree with everything that Thobakgale said this morning, Dr. Ndlozi. Let me say there's a lot of work to be done. And when I say that too at my judicial inspectorate. None of us are, as constitutional agents, are doing a good enough job, and that applies to me as well. The Constitutional Court has shown a downward trend in its judgments out and its dealing with applications. That will be remedied, I'm confident. And between Chief Justice Meyer and Deputy Chief Justice Mlamba, they will fix that. So on the one hand, there's a lot to be done in every court. There's no court. None of us who are receiving public salaries like I do as a retired judge and in my judicial inspectorate role can afford to be complacent, can afford to be self-satisfied, can afford to pat ourselves on the back. Lots of work to be done, but like Thobakgale, I'm confident that we are on the right track with the Constitutional Court, with Chief Justice Meyer, with Deputy Chief Justice Mlamba, and that with the whole judiciary, that they will all be inspired. Let me say this, if I may, lastly, Mbuyiseni. Yesterday was a very beautiful ceremony with Acting Deputy Chief Justice Mbuyiseni Madlanga. And they invited the senior magistrates, who should be called, by the way, district judges and regional court judges. We should have changed that terminology, because most of the hard work, most of the grueling, tough work is done by magistrates. But they were invited for the first time to a closing ceremony. I was very proud of that. And that may have been an idea from Chief Justice Meyer, supported by the incoming Deputy Chief Justice. And the point I want to make is that I think the whole judiciary, from the magistrates up to the Constitutional Court, will be inspired and activated by this new appointment and by Chief Justice Meyer.
Justice Edwin Cameron and Thobakgale Nchodu, always a pleasure. I thank you both. And Judge, I'm hoping very soon we'll create time on the show, you and I, we can talk about the drugs and how the argument that you think they should be legalized.
I'm ready for the fight with you, Dr. Ndlozi, and with your listeners, and I'll bring my persuasive arguments, and I look forward to that very much.
Thank you indeed. Thanks, Thobakgale, and have an excellent weekend, both of you.
Thank you, Doctor. Thank you, Judge.
That's it from us. Bantwana Benkosi, that brings us to the end of Power Talk and a long week. Singena ku-August ke ngoku. And we're looking forward to that inquiry. Please have an excellent weekend, mntanomhle. Don't drink and drive. Take the salary back home. Uska, hey! Uska docha ka salary. Please, mntanomhle. Mntana bantwana ariyeng le di salary go high. Di taverne butleng. O ka iteboa fela hanyane fela. Economy e boima, bana ba lapile, Maria ba batla dijeresi. Hey! Ska docha ka salary. Ya high. Ku shebile. Stay tuned for Power Lunch. Dintanda nonke makhaya.